Hello, and welcome to the Friday Fast 15, the snack size show where we break down big topics in under 15 minutes. ServiceNow delivered a whole lot of functionality with the Rome release last month. One of the coolest changes is the addition of DevOps with ITSM Pro. But what does that even mean? I've invited Crossfuze solutions consultant Justin Meadows on the show to give us a scoop. Welcome to the show, Justin.
Hi, Kim. Thanks for having me.
Justin, I always like to start the show with a fun fact about our guests. You're already familiar to a lot of our audience. Tell us something we don't know about you.
Oh my, that's actually a tough one because I'm a very open person and sometimes I overshare. But if I had to think of something that's going to live on forever in this format, it might be that at least my neighbors don't know this about me, or my neighbors know it about me, but people don't know, is that I like to work with my hands. So if you give me a hammer, a saw, a drill, and some building supplies, I love building things. So that's something that a lot of people that don't live next to me probably don't know.
Wow, that's actually super cool. I imagine that building with your hands can almost help you think differently when building workflow solutions here at Crossfuze, because it's all the same design thinking. So let's talk tech. I first heard the buzz around DevOps with the Quebec release, and I know ServiceNow has expanded the functionality even more in the Rome release. But what is it exactly?
Gotcha. Yeah, to put it simply, DevOps in ServiceNow is about insights and automation. So developers, people who write code as part of their job, they work in many different tools, or oftentimes they work in many different tools. Those might be agile planning tools where they track product defects and enhancements, features, epics, stories, stuff like that to kind of manage their backlog, their to-do list of what they're doing. They store their code in code repositories that have versioning and a file system for organization. They may use other tools or apps for testing their code, running security checks, and these days many teams use tools or apps to automate the migration of code from development to test to production. And we call them pipelines or continuous integration, continuous deployment tools. And those tools can signal to other applications to do things like perform tests, or in the case of ServiceNow, open a change request and fill out all the details so the developer doesn't have to. Oftentimes, these developers are working on systems or applications that are under the governance of change management, what we know as IT service management, change management. That typically means pulling up a change form, completing the required details, following the usual approval steps that are part of the change process, whatever that change process is for the organization. From the developer's perspective, it's just another thing they have to do, and there's not a lot of value add from their perspective. It's more of a compliance step, a release gate that can feel like a barrier or an impediment to bringing their customers joy and happiness by fixing things and releasing new features. What ServiceNow can do is bring all these tools together into a single platform and a system of action. So by connecting the different tools that they're using, we can leverage insights from those tools to drive automation around the change process. What does that mean? Well, for a very low-risk development change, we can auto-fill out the change request, provide auditable links back to the various tools that they're using, and then when it's appropriate, auto-approve the change request, reducing what is sometimes a 2 to 3 week process to get their changes approved down to mere minutes to get that released.
Wow, what a time saver. And why would organizations want to implement this as a platform functionality?
Sure. First and foremost, insights, using air quotes there, are visibility for teams working in ServiceNow into the development process. A lot of times the developers, are disconnected from where the rest of the operations are going on. So we call this DevOps. So picture a CAB meeting where everyone is trying to ensure a safe, secure, and stable computing environment. A developer may present a change to that CAB for review and approval, following the change process. Traditionally, the CAB relies on the details provided on the change form, and let's face it, poor human memory for the stability and accuracy of the application that's being changed, or even the developer performing the change. Did they screw that up the last time? Did it work the last time? Things like that. So with ServiceNow DevOps, we can bring quantitative data to better inform the change process and the decision making. So answer questions like, what's the success rate of previous changes for that application? How about the developer? What percentage of automated tests succeeded for that particular change? How often does the developer make commits? How often does the developer revert or roll back their commits? What were the security testing results? Is it a manual release process, or is there orchestration involved, like I mentioned earlier, that reduces the potential for human error by automatically moving changes into production? So organizations that want to accelerate and improve user experience, customer satisfaction, and innovation can benefit from ServiceNow DevOps by auto-approving low-risk changes and providing better context to higher-risk changes. In organizations where there are multiple development tools, which is often the case, ServiceNow DevOps can centralize the metadata we just talked about, those testing results, security results, and provide a single view of development teams from planning all the way through release. And the out-of-the-box reports and dashboards will even provide insight into change throughput and success for non-DevOps changes, people who aren't doing development, compared to DevOps changes, helping your IT leadership team see the value of bringing all those tools together into a single system of action.
So, Justin, where can folks go to learn more about this?
Well, there is plenty of information on the ServiceNow documentation site. I have that site up all day long as part of my job. I'm sure many of you do too. You should also check out the ServiceNow community site. It's where people can go ask questions and help each other out. We actually have a video demonstration on YouTube of ServiceNow DevOps in action that you can watch and see everything I just talked about. And lastly, we're here to help you too.
Do you have any final DevOps thoughts for us?
I do have one last thought to share, and it's, speaking generally about ServiceNow, there's so much promise and value to unlock with the ServiceNow platform. I say that as a former customer and now as a solutions consultant. If you're trying to engage your development teams and realize synergies with IT operations, again, DevOps, this is a great first step that can demonstrate to developers that ServiceNow is different and it really does improve workflows. And if you're already an ITSM Pro subscriber or have been looking for a good reason to upgrade to ITSM Pro, I invite you to take a look at the application.
Thank you, Justin. I'm going to check out that YouTube video you mentioned later today. And thank you, everyone, for joining us. This has been DevOps and ITSM Pro with Justin Meadows. If you'd like to learn more about DevOps or ServiceNow ITSM Pro, visit crossfuze.com or reach out at letstalk@crossfuze.com. And for more snack-sized conversations, subscribe to the Friday Fast 15 at Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or YouTube. See you soon!